Have a stat of the day I want to get to in just a second. Chris has been telling me about some Jim Harbaugh sound. Why do you want to play this sound so badly, Chris?
Just
What's going on?
It's the first time that I was like, oh, Jim Harbaugh's back. Because I remember when he was with the Niners, he's a pretty funny and weird, odd, I'd say. I don't want to say weird. He's an odd quote. And he just, it was a generic question about how's it going so far for you, and he had a classic Jim Harbaugh answer.
Like the start of the new year. Happy New Year. That's the way it feels. You know, it's like that first day of school, family reunion, homecoming. I know those that most people think January 1st, the start of the new year. Those that espouse to Christianity, Catholicism, correlated with the birth of Christ. But us in football, today, April 2nd, start of the new year. So just great day. It was just a great day for football, for meetings and training, doing a lot of baseline training.
Is he on a treadmill?
Was breathing heavy.
Why is he breathing? And that's how he always does it.
I think weird is polite. I think calling him weird is like the nicest way to describe
I don't think he'd be offended by it.
Have a stress test.
The first 10 seconds of that, he rattles off first day of school, New Year's Eve, family reunion, homecoming. Was he talking about in high school?
But
April 2nd.
But he's right. I mean,
talk to these kids though.
Put it on the poll. Do you celebrate New Year's
Eve
Eve
about
on
me. It's
April
about these
1st?
kids. It's about these kids.
But yeah.
Jesus, Catholicism.
I don't know
like
where
someone
that
who just moved. Moving's a bitch.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
The worst.
But I just think that the useless sound montage will have fun and is happy that he's back.
Is he wrong though?
Eggs.
I'm more excited for the start of the football season than I am for the start of a new year.
You know, Peeps. Cadbury eggs.
It really, what I hear there is that he was just bored at Michigan, one of the coolest jobs in sports. That just wasn't doing it for him anymore.
How about these fans?
You mentioned Cadbury eggs. The things you do driving around the Midwest on a gummy in a passenger seat. I have top 5 athletes that connote Easter.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, nice.
I'm ready when you are.
3 days late.
Yeah.
You ready for it right
These
now?
are athletes? Are these athletes or people in and around sports?
These are people in sports.
Okay.
I have OLI.
Any celebrities?
Perhaps.
All right.
You ready?
I am. I am.
Christian McCaffrey.
Good.
Tim Duncan. Mr. Bunny.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I was like, Dunkin' Donuts, I don't get it. Yeah.
David DeJesus. Number 5.
Oh, wow, that was just OLI. Wow.
Yes. V. Stiviano.
She was a silly rabbit.
Silly rabbit,
Thank
yeah.
you.
She was his right-hand arm man. Mr. Sterling's everything.
Yeah. Number 4. Kareem Hunt. Hunt for Easter eggs. Man.
Oh, okay.
No? In looking at this, perhaps DeJesus should have been there.
Over Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Well, you had to explain Kareem Hunt. So.
Number 3, Jermaine Dye. We dye the eggs.
I'm following.
Oh.
Thank you.
Or Good Friday.
Number 2, Hank Basket.
Remember him?
I do.
Can I guess number 1?
You're never going to guess it.
So it's not Cam Rising.
It should have been.
Yeah. Damn. You got to follow that.
Number 1 is going to be funny to just Mike and perhaps Roy. Former 790 The Ticket update anchor, Rich Eggy.
Mike,
name
you like
was
it?
Eggy?
Mike, you let it play?
I haven't thought about Rich Eggy in 20
Eggy?
years. Yeah, that was his last name.
That was his name, Eggy.
One of the OGs of 790 The Ticket.
Eggy?
Rich Eggy.
Oh.
It should have been Cam Rising.
It should have been.
Eggy Weggy.
Catholicism.
Don't you think Harbaugh likes being
I'm
weird?
never gonna get used to how
can't control
odd
it.
he is. He wasn't this odd when he was playing, guys. He was a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he was not he missed a season because he punched Jim Kelly's lights out. But he wasn't this odd in front of microphones. Maybe the internet made things amplified. But
No, but
he's
Mike,
just
he
getting
was
more and more strange.
He was a gritty, grindy quarterback. We knew that, but he never spoke much. So,
Well,
but
didn't
now
he
we're
have a-
seeing his
Didn't
personality.
he have a sideline thing? Ditka had things with all of his quarterbacks, but didn't he, when he was a
I
Chicago
think he had
Bear,
a spat. Yeah.
he had a spat, and we all know that he punched Jim Kelly. Again,
Right.
He was a Colts quarterback, and they end up having a terrible season and get Peyton Manning, and it's all because Captain Comeback, who honestly almost took the Colts to a Super Bowl.
Yes.
He almost beat Pittsburgh. It was maybe a little bit before your time, Jess, but he almost beat Pittsburgh on a Hail Mary in the AFC Championship game. He goes to the Colts, has success there, punches Jim Kelly's lights out because Jim Kelly said something as an analyst that bothered him.
Right.
They have a terrible year and get Peyton Manning the next year.
Stood on business.
Deep playoff run, though. And it was exciting. Like, everyone was rooting for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, that year he was Captain Comeback.
Right.
They would go down big and come back.
Mm-hmm.
He had
Earned
the
the name.
he had the incident.
That's the nickname.
He had the post game incident with Schwartz. Remember when they're jogging off the
Schwartz?
field?
Yeah. Shake my hand.
Yes.
That was a weird one.
That one was funny.
But Mike is right. We had no way of knowing he was crazy.
I didn't know he was like that odd until he became head coach of San Francisco.
Yeah, that's when it came out.
And then he got even more odd when he went to Michigan. And
I think the
it
nervous
seems as though
bird,
like we're just got to keep climbing here.
Chicken as the nervous bird was like top tier. Jim Harbaugh, he's like, I don't like my quarterbacks eating chicken. Chicken's a nervous bird.
He
I don't
had to
like it.
have health professionals tell him that
Like, no, you're good.
you're fine.
The nervousness of the chicken is not going to transfer via food to your stomach
So
and then
don't
make you
believe it.
nervous.
Have you guys seen the skill guys there? That is it is bad right now.
yeah,
is bad.
they may actually run the Michigan offense. It seems as though Greg Roman's the offensive coordinator. It's going to be run heavy.
Wideouts you can draft if you get a couple.
No, they
nice
need
picks
to.
for Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But don't you think some of these teams, they've seen Mahomes, they're like, why spend so much? If you have one of those quarterbacks, they can win with just about any wide receivers, correct? Mahomes is doing it
Then why
right
make
now.
the trade for Stephon Diggs when you have C.J. Stroud?
It's a great question. Because you can. Because you have the
'Cause you're
cap
going
space.
all in.
Going all in, exactly right.
They have what everyone wants, which is the quarterback on a rookie deal, right?
This is an interesting project. Dude, they got
They have nobody.
they got to make up some ground.
You would have thought that his New Year's wouldn't be as happy as with the skill guys.
He's
that he
lost
has.
everything.
Like you would have thought he'd be like, it was a
He's
shitty
so
New
happy
Year's.
he's so happy to be away from the NCAA.
Yes.
that was Easter for him, no doubt. He is risen.
He doesn't have to worry about who he buys Eggy Weggies for.
Rich Aggie.
There's been a bunch of like sneaky signings this offseason.
Like,
I have a top 5.
What?
do you
I have
really?
a top 5.
Top 5 sneaky signings?
Sneaky signings
Wow,
in
you
the
let
NFL.
him right there. Amazing.
Sneaky signings that you might not have noticed, or sneaky signings that I don't think there's been enough discussion about.
This
Okay.
is why Chris Cody's the draft cring. Because how did he know?
So, no OLIs. Here we go.
Just a straight 5.
Number 5.
Okay.
And this is, I'm going to play this one straight. And I think, given the recent events with Rice over the weekend, this may not be as sneaky. But number 5 is Hollywood Brown to Kansas City. We know what they were missing last year. When someone was taking the top off
While
that
winning the
defense,
Super Bowl.
Wide receivers
Yeah.
that can catch.
Yeah,
He's-
and he may not fit the bill either. He's going to frustrate them, but he's not going to frustrate them as much as MVS did. He could put up a huge year in that offense.
Yes.
Hollywood Brown on a pretty discount deal. The text message was released, and Andy Reid just recruited him with like 2 sentences. It's not hard to recruit guys over there. A prove-it deal, 1 for 11 kind of, rather than take a lot of years. Maybe do the Sammy Watkins thing there. He can make a real impact with
No
that
doubt.
offense.
What are we thinking for fantasy, Tony, for him? He's one of those guys. You know, everyone's going to be
Yeah,
super
nice
eager to
little
get
maybe
him.
4th, 5th round pick somewhere in
Yep.
there.
Little flyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4, Mitch Morse leaving to the Jags. Buffalo's roster construction. I like Shakir. They found something with Shakir.
He's a nice 3.
He's wide receiver 1 now over there because they've lost Gabe Davis.
They've lost 12
Diggs.
starters.
Damian Harris even retired. Not that he was being used last year because he was hurt.
Is
But
losing Gabe Davis a bad thing?
Mitch Morse was huge for
Something
the.
to ponder.
That's true. I wasn't a fan, but Morse was really important to their offensive line. They don't just have to rebuild their skilled positions. Mitch Morse was huge there, and Mitch Morse to the Jags specifically really helps out Trevor Lawrence. they needed to protect him way more. So, not talked about, this is sneaky, Mitch Morse to the Jags.
And got him a weapon. Gabe
And
Davis.
number 3, sneaky little signing, Tyler Huntley to the Browns. People saw that Jameis Winston went to Cleveland as Joe Flacco went to Indianapolis. But one signing that you may have missed is Tyler Huntley, Lamar Jackson's backup in Baltimore, also signed with the Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Cleveland Browns, they went through a lot of starting quarterbacks last year, and you have plenty of questions looming over Deshaun Watson. It's been a long time since we've seen Deshaun Watson play consistently well. Not only did they get a passing option behind them, but a good running threat. That's a pretty solid quarterback room that somehow increased the number of sexual assault allegations. Number 2. Let me face ID this thing. Leonard Floyd to the Niners.
Wow. I like that, actually.
Lost Chase Young. Big.
Yeah. Lost Chase Young. I don't know how good Chase Young is. I thought Chase Young was going to be better, although he balled out in the first half of the Super Bowl. Leonard Floyd, maybe Floyd a little bit more consistency out of that position. This is an NFC champion side that still has a quarterback on a cheap contract. We'll see what happens with Brandon Ayuk. A lot of people assuming Brandon Ayuk may be out of San Francisco, but the defensive line needed some help there, especially with Chase Young going. I like Leonard Floyd. I think he puts up a consistent effort. That's a good signing for them. And number 1, Austin Hooper to the Patriots.
Huh.
Now, Austin Hooper, I remember growing up and watching Austin Hooper, and it turns out he's only 29 years old. He is younger than Dansby Swanson.
What?
Austin Hooper.
That's impossible. We never got to the stat of the day.
There's always tomorrow, Stugotz.
Yes, there.
It's good to have you back, though.
Well said. Well, thank you, Chris. It's good to be back.
What about me?
You too.
Oh, do you mean it?
Really could
That
have
was
used
pity.
you Monday and Tuesday, though.
Dan, back tomorrow.
Mike, what is this Walking Dead? Are you still watching The Walking Dead?
No, I'm not. But they have a new show.
Jesus Christ.
They have a new show.
Do they really?
It's. Are we going to sound old having a pop culture conversation about, man, when The Walking Dead was running things?
I'm just saying, like, the best description for Walking Dead right now is whoever's making that show. Because there's, like, you have to feel like you've run out of every possible storyline, right?
Well, there's all sorts of spinoffs now. All sorts of spinoffs.
Not
And
every
so now
character.
there's the ones who lived, and it brings back Rick Grimes, who had left The Walking Dead for quite a while, and I guess returned towards the end of The Walking Dead's original series. I do believe that The Walking Dead proper
Is over.
is over, but we've just begun to tell the zombie story.
Never seen a second of it.
Of
Yeah.
The Walking Dead?
Ever.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something.
My man with the bow and arrow also
Oh.
has his own spinoff.
That dude's been around. That dude hasn't
Yeah,
died.
and he was an original
Yeah, from
character
he's a day one.
developed, but he was also developed specifically for that show. He wasn't a part of the
The
source
comic?
material.
Yeah.
So you have those. You also had a Walking Dead that was on the other side of the country.
Can I say something? My man with the bow and arrow, get another job.
I haven't watched in so long that I
One
forgot
Trick
his
Pony?
name.
You know, I do the same thing with Keenan Thompson on SNL. Get another job.
Right.
Show that you can do something other than just
Some
He can't-
range.
He doesn't really though. Like he's had two things that have really connected:
Who?
Boondock Saints and my man with a bow and arrow. What's his name?
No,
My
his-
man with the bow
his
and
name
arrow
is
was
My
a
Man
great
with the Bow
name.
and Arrow.
Yes.
Why don't you get another job?
I do.
I mean, you're
You
talking
have
into
Oddball?
microphones.
I do Oddball. I do Sirius XM NBA
What's
Radio.
Cinephobe?
But it's
I
all
do
it's all
Cinephobe.
talking into a
he
mic.
means
No.
like go be like a plumber.
Yeah.
Or something.
No. I'm not saying go do another job. Don't be an actor. Be an actor. Act in something different.
Norman Reedus is his name. What is it? Is it Daryl? Is that the guy's name?
Daryl, that's his name.
Daryl Dixon.
No, but he's my man with the bow and arrow.
You're saying test yourself. Take another role.
Yeah,
Right.
like show that you can do something other than have long, greasy hair and shoot bows and arrows.
Well, Rick Grimes, I guess, tried to do that, but nobody was interested in Rick Grimes
Well,
when he
you know,
wasn't Rick
he-
Grimes.
He's
saying,
British. Carl.
You're an actor. Take work where you can get it. It's
But
probably
like,
nice
is he
niche.
not getting any work anywhere else? I guess
So
not.
this newest spinoff is Rick and Michonne.
Okay, Sword
Yeah,
Lady.
another
Who?
the two of the three most popular
Now-
characters
now
in the history. of
Sword
the-
Lady,
Sword
Sword
Lady.
Lady stepped out of her box. was in Black Panther, did a great job in that. Showed that she's an actor with range. I can do different roles. I can be different people. Not like my man my man Bow and Arrow.
Well said.
Who all he's doing is looking greasy every day.
But there's very clearly an audience for this. I think a lot of people were like me, which was there was a point in time where Walking Dead, the original series, was appointment television.
Dude.
It was an event. You wouldn't want spoilers.
Talking Dead was an event.
Yeah, Talking Dead.
Think how crazy, how big of a show you can be where there's a spin-off, not even a spin-off, a show that's dedicated just reviewing the last episode.
It was a post-game show, wasn't
Yes.
it? Right.
But it was
Right after the show.
It was appointment viewing.
And it springboarded the career of John Bernthal. He had a monster career after that. Great villain.
Actor.
He came from there?
He came
Yeah,
from there.
pretty much.
He was Rick Grimes' brother on the show.
Who had a thing with Rick Grimes' wife.
Because they
There
thought
was
Rick
a-
Grimes was dead.
Yeah, love triangle.
Classic.
Yeah.
Also, you know who else was on that show? My man from Guardians of the Galaxy with the whistling and the arrow. He was on that. He was my man with the bow
My
and
man
arrow.
with the whistle.
My man with the bow and arrow's brother.
This feels like it was a really long time ago.
It was a really
Probably
long
By the way,
time ago.
best weapon for anybody in the Marvel Universe
Yep.
is that whistle thing.
My man with the whistle.
So cool.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Rondo.
Yeah, something like that.
Something. Rajon
The
Rondo.
blue guy.
Who just announced his retirement? Did you know that?
He did?
Rajon
Happy
Rondo is.
trails.
Wait, the time he was on with us, he was still playing in the NBA?
I don't know. I saw a Vibe tweet out.
Wasn't he a pacer?
He might have been. I don't know. Like there's some like Tim Hardaway.
This year?
Tim Hardaway.
Are you
Sr.
telling me
I
Rajon
think
Rondo was
No, he
Rajon
wasn't.
was
No.
playing basketball?
No,
this
you don't
year?
think so?
There's no
I
way.
want to see.
I mean, I haven't really been watching this season of
No.
NBA
He was
basketball.
he was not playing this season. Let me just stop you guys.
His
there.
last season was with the Cavs, 21-22.
Yeah. Like relax. But
What
Finally
happened as a
hanging him up.
pacer?
if you ask me if he played for the Pacers, I don't know. In the same way that Tim Hardaway Sr.'s end of career had the teams he played.
He was
for.
not a pacer.
Wasn't Isaiah
not,
Thomas
yes.
not the one that Pablo Torre is figuring out about? The other Isaiah Thomas, didn't he just sign like a 10-day? I think I saw
He
him on a bench.
Signed for the rest of the year with the Suns.
Oh, really? Has he gotten some PT?
A little bit. I think.
Remember that moment in
Really?
time during COVID, and Spo never gave it to us? Mario Chalmers actually re-signed with the Miami Heat. Crowd was begging for him to come into the game. He never did. Man, that would have been
Wait, he was
awesome.
on that finals roster?
I think he was on like the team that ended up making a bubble run.
Yeah, to the finals roster.
Yeah, he would have gotten a ring if they
He was
won.
on the
difference.
roster, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I
How
could
about
use
But I don't think he
PT
was in
right
the bubble.
now.
I don't think he made the playoff roster. I don't think he made the playoff roster. But there was a moment in time where it had been several years. Rio reemerged in the NBA, and he was with the Heat, and we never played him.
Do you think he regrets pushing it when he played for the Celtics? Because that was the end of his career, essentially, right? Like, he had a great playoff run. I would say for like a week, he was the biggest star in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, he was never a perfect player.
hold
Rajon
on.
was never a perfect
Bigger
player.
than LeBron James.
You said everyone on the court has to get buckets now in the NBA. He played at a position where you historically do get someone that you can trust on the outside, and he
Look, he
tried
was
his best to develop.
he was
there,
he was we're talking about Isaiah Thomas, right?
No, I'm talking about Rajon.
Oh, I'm talking
Rondo.
Isaiah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Isaiah
Yeah.
Isaiah
I guess I've
Thomas,
just been
Thomas
off all
bucket
day
getter.
there.
no,
No, Isaiah. Yeah, that Isaiah is never.
certified bucket getter, and like Stugotz said, like at that point, dude, we were talking about. Remember, he had the quote, "They're gonna back up the Brinks truck."
Yes.
He was more
He,
injured.
by the way, he absolutely regrets it. He said, "If I knew,
He has to.
If I knew now if I knew then what I know now, I absolutely wouldn't have played." But he said they told me like I couldn't make it worse by playing.
Yeah.
And he actually said that on Oddball.
But
by
what
the way.
happened
Check
with
that out.
what happened with Rondo?
One of my other
specifically?
jobs, Chris.
What happened with Rondo specifically? Things went real south after the trade to Dallas for him.
For his career,
Yeah.
I think I don't think it went south because then he had up years and down years. You remember Chicago?
He was then just like a journeyman after that.
Yeah, like look, I think this is my opinion. He's a really, really, really smart guy.
Is he a Hall of Famer? Wow.
I mean, everyone gets into that
That's a
Hall
good
of Fame.
point.
Like, everyone gets in. He's
Got a ring.
Whoa.
He's got a ring.
Made
He's
you
got a
think.
lot. He's got
He'll
the
get in.
stats from the assist standpoint.
Made you think even more than when I said, is Tank Dell the best number 3 in the NFL?
Kevin Garnett, there's someone who did another job.
At another job.
Uncut
Exactly.
Gems.
Uncut Jam.
One of my favorite things is I get emails throughout the show from Taylor in the other room, cutting up little things that we did, and this is something you did, Amin. I don't even know what it is, but let's listen to it.
Not like my man
Well said.
So what happened with Rondo?
So I love the idea that's instantaneous. But Chris fouled up 700 times 2 segments ago. We ain't got none of them emails, huh? Where are the emails?
DraftKings.
That's what I'm asking.
That did me earlier. DraftKings.
It's your turn. I mean, you had the most recent screw up.
Not like my man
Well said.
You know what my favorite part is? 3 weeks from now, it'll be on Cinephobe. That's because Anthony Mays is.
Is that the delay where it's like 3 weeks behind?
I've said too much, but Anthony Mays edits on this show, and so
secret?
he takes
Very
these
well
things,
edited.
He takes these things and then he repurposes them on the show, and I don't like it because I feel like I'm doing different jobs. I would never have my man.
David Sam's gonna send him a cease and desist.
My man with the whistle.
That's R.I.P.
My man with the whistle would not be in like Walking Dead all of a sudden whistling with the thing. Like that wouldn't happen. But
You don't
it
like
happens.
crossover, is
No,
what you're saying.
no, not.
If it happened here, you play it back here.
Yeah.
Don't play it back on another show.
No.
Right.
No, and now
It's
this
a good
will be in there,
producing,
too.
though. I mean,
Is it good producing?
I think it is, yes.
So
Not
what
like my
happened?
man.
So what happened to Rondo?
Yeah, what happened to Rondo's career?
Rondo is a brilliant basketball mind and also a little bit cantankerous in nature. And so when you combine those two things with either a coach that he doesn't think knows what they're talking about, which is very quite likely, or a coach who's also a brilliant basketball mind and also cantankerous, like what happened with Carlisle, you get a lot of oil and water situations. And I think he kind of bounced around the league. He had impact in a lot of places. He was good in Chicago. He was good in Sacramento. He was good in New Orleans. And he was good with the Lakers when they won another ring. He's got 2 rings, by the way. We said 1 ring earlier. But
He's in.
he's in.
The Hall of Fame.
That second ring is.
Yes.
That's all it took.
Yeah.
Rings with an S or
Yes.
Z.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine that that's what happens, right? Is that he just wears out his welcome in a lot of different places. But, you know, Hall of Famer though, I don't know. I don't know why I'm stuck on that.
I mean, there are some marginal players in the NBA Hall of Fame.
Name one.
I mean, I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
But that Hall of Fame, it's the basketball Hall
yeah,
of Fame.
that's how isn't Christian Leitner in there?
I believe so.
No,
yes.
he's not.
As a member of the Dream
As
Team.
a member
Yeah,
of
I
the team,
think
that's
so.
different. That's not.
I know he wasn't a scoring, machine, but his last 10 seasons were under double-digit points per game.
Yeah, I mean, but what were his assists?
His best season post Boston was Sacramento. He averaged 11 and 11.
Dude,
Could you play his brand of basketball where he was considered at his peak? Can you play that position, that style in today's game?
I think if you're as good as he was at everything else, he was an incredible rebounder at his size. He was a very good defensive player, and obviously the playmaking speaks for itself. Also, Rondo, unlike other gun-shy point guards of his era, like, for instance, Ricky Rubio is probably a great comp in terms of another guy who couldn't shoot, and teams would use that against him. When guys would go under on the pick and roll, we'd say go 6 feet under, like meaning like he's damn near in the ground as far as how far under they're going. Rubio would freeze. He wouldn't know what to do because he wouldn't want to take that shot. He knew I'm not good at that shot, but obviously the offense stalls. For Rondo, if you gave him that space, he used it to accelerate. And now, yes, you can meet him at the rim, but you're meeting him with a full head
Does
of steam.
Rondo get his jersey retired by the Celtics?
That's a good question. Mo Cheeks is in the Basketball Hall of Fame, by the way.
Cheeks, man.
Rondo was better than Mo Cheeks. He was, man.
I don't know. Rondo was really good, though.
Do you think he gets his jersey retired?
In Boston, but Boston's weird. They don't retire any old jerseys. Like, they don't, like, look in the
I mean, there's a
rafters.
bunch of jerseys retired. They even have them in little quadrants. It's
I
not like
know.
the big one banner.
But the jerseys are almost all Hall of Famers.
If he gets in the Hall of Fame.
And he's an almost Hall of Famer.
If he's a Hall of Famer, then yes. Give me a second here just to look.
Yeah,
up,
it's a little unfair to put you on the spot.
because I don't know. I know the Celtics.
I'm not fully aware of the criteria to make the jersey retirement for the Boston
So
Celtics.
for instance, for the Lakers, you
you
have
had to
to be
have belts around your socks.
You
was
have to
one
be a
of them.
Hall. Here we go. 24 jerseys retired by the Celtics. Right. These are the names. Right. Jim Loskatov, Hall of Famer. Robert Parrish.
What year is that? Loskatov?
Loskatov was back before you need to even pay attention.
Right. The Chief.
Back when people had that last name.
Yeah, exactly. Robert Parrish, Hall of Famer.
The Chief?
Reggie Lewis, not Hall of Famer, but died as a Celtic.
Rest
And
in power.
Yeah. Paul Pierce,
Would have been a Hall of Famer.
Probably would have been a Hall of
Yes.
Famer. Paul Pierce, Hall of Famer.
The truth.
Larry Bird, Hall of Famer. Kevin McHale, Hall of Famer. Cedric Maxwell, Finals MVP.
Cornbread.
Casey Jones, Hall of Famer. Sam Jones, Hall of Famer. Frank Ramsey, Hall of Famer. Ed McCauley, Hall of Famer. Bill Sharman, Hall of Famer. Don Nelson, Hall of Famer for coaching, and also hit one of the biggest shots in the history of the organization. Dave Cowens, Hall of Famer. John Havlicek, Hall of Famer.
Honda.
Havlicek. Oh, all right. Satch Sanders, Hall of Famer. Tommy Heinsohn, Hall of Famer. Tommy Gunn.
Really? Didn't know that.
Bob Cousy, Hall of Famer.
Coos.
JoJo White, Hall of Famer. Bill Russell, Hall of Famer. KG, Hall of Famer. Dennis Johnson, Hall of Famer. Red Auerbach, Hall of Famer. Walter Brown, the owner and founder of the team.
Does Ray Allen get his jersey retired there?
Absolutely.
No.
But a Hall of Famer. Does Ray Allen get his jersey retired anywhere?
Rondo was better than DJ. He was.
Milwaukee.
He was better.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think he would get it retired in Seattle if there was a Seattle?
Probably, if there was a Seattle.
Him, Kemp, Rashard Lewis, GP.
Man, I was watching Kemp highlights the other day because
Crazy.
Rex Chapman was tweeting about how he recruited. He was part of the recruiting trip for Sean Kemp, and he would have gone there if it hadn't been for the meddling NCAA. And it's like, yo, man, to start watching the Kemp highlights.
He was cold.
Dude, that dude was unbelievable.
How about Havlicek?
How about him?
How about him? Does Rondo get his jersey retired? Now that I saw Cedric Maxwell's name in there, maybe. But Cedric Maxwell won the finals.
So the
MVP.
one guy from that group that doesn't is Ray?
Yes.
Ray, absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, that
No
tracks
chance,
with how
Mike.
it's gone since
Bro.
then.
And they've buried the hatchet, from what I understand.
I actually think
the
Ray Allen.
individuals.
I don't think Ray Allen should have his jersey retired by the Miami Heat, but I do think, and Angel Russo, I've actually seen Angel Russo mock something up. I think the Heat should honor that part of the floor with his jersey number
I think
in the wood.
they should honor it with the ropes just hanging from the. Get them ropes out of here.
Folks, women, men, children, listening to my voice, it is time to update March Sadness.
Yeah.
And it's going well. We are getting down into our Elite Eight. We have Elite Eight. We have reached the Elite Eight, and it's big time. And remember, March Sadness is presented by Get Your Guide. Discover over 100,000 unforgettable travel experiences in the U.S. and around the world at getyourguide.com.
There you go, kid.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Bounce back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Draft Curring.
We are so back. Matchup number one
Which
from
region?
Monday. We had
Which region?
in the song region. We had
Okay.
Puka Nakua versus Bills. Who do you guys think won?
Oh man, I think Puka Nakua is overrated. Y'all already know.
The winner and moving on, 1 seed Puka Nakua.
His name is Cooper, good at running curls. But when his hammy got a tear, he saw Puka standing there, his blade diminished.
We don't have to go through the whole song. Yeah, you get it.
That's
We've
gonna
kind of
I
played
really
these
like
at this
Bills,
point.
Bills, man. I thought that was pretty good, but you know.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
strong.
it.
It's strong. I mean, Jeremy does his thing. But the next matchup, Wrong Song versus Sports Whisperer.
This might be the
Who do you guys got?
wrong song's a good.
You're wrong.
I like the other one a little bit better.
No,
Yeah,
wrong.
really?
Sports Whisperer song
Yeah.
is really good.
Sports Whisperer song was really
It
good.
was creative. But wrong song that's a Final Four team.
It's a great vocal performance, no doubt.
Yeti's song's doing well in this so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little suspicious.
In the third matchup, we have 2 seed We're All Gonna Die versus Cinderella making a deep run. Taylor singing Carry Us Jalen Brunson.
All
Who
right.
do you think won that?
Wow.
Well, this is the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Taylor.
Our fans would support Taylor.
Yes.
What?
Someone needs to look into this. Maybe that's the next episode of Stugotz's favorite podcast. Pablo Torre figures it out.
This
Looking
song,
into stuff.
this song is kind of like Purdue. It's like, okay, it's good, but like Zach 87.5. Like, come on.
It's gonna run into an absolute flamethrower at some point before the Final Four. What about the last?
I mean,
matchup
pretty
of the
much all that's left is Yeti.
All right, the final matchup.
Yeti
here-
save us.
It's like the ACC.
The final matchup
Just
here
beating each other up.
is Jeremy singing Dan the Ramblin' Man, which is one of my favorites,
Yeah, that was a good
versus
one.
not Yeti, but from Andrew Streeter, the Franco Harris song. So who do you guys like there?
This one's tough.
Gotta be
It is
Rambling,
tough.
man.
I think.
Oh, what?
Wow.
I was just,
Whoa.
I was just making sure you
They
guys are on
they-
your toes.
Twice?
They
Are you
stayed.
guys hearing that?
They stayed for the late game and won that one too.
I don't know about this, man. I've had my suspicions since the musical loss to these guys.
Thoughts on?
I'm just saying. There's a check the basements. There might be a server farm in there.
So that is our sports region, our song region.
So Puka Nakua goes up against Wrong Song in the next round, and then We're All Gonna Die goes up against Franco Harris. What? These seedings again.
We need to reseed.
Oh my god.
We need to reseed.
Yeah.
Taylor got robbed.
He did.
Carry on, Jalen Brunson.
Can we hear that one more time and send it off properly? I know you got to find it. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
all
we'll
right.
fill.
Fill for a second.
We'll
got
fill.
it. We can do it.
Taylor, it's high time that we get another song. You should have
You want to?
sang because UNC got eliminated.
No,
or
he's got to give.
something.
He's got to give us. He got fouled from Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, but you have to put
yeah.
more songs in the field, is what Mike is saying.
Taylor, can we get a song?
3, the crowd goes into a delusion. Winning in the playoffs, not an illusion. It's a heat check, he's on fire. But let it fly. Saw the contract, they said he was overpaid, man. Said that he was overrated and that we had no plan. They were wrong and I am beaming. Hear the Mecca say, carry us, Jalen Brunson. Comes up clutch, that's why we won. New York knows you are the best. Not the joke no more.
Good run.
If
Good
you
run,
could
Taylor.
win awards, clapping
This-
for
this-
Taylor.
yeah, this is-
if
this
you
is what-
could win an award for like thinking up a verse for a song and then not actually making it, I would be the champion of that. Because I came up with a Goodbye Kenny Pickett song like a month ago, and then something happened. I was like,
Yeah, the follow through is what we need.
it's
yeah,
hard.
let's come on, kids.
Everyone
Let's
can-
put.
Everybody could take a reservation.
I was
It's been fine.
Ooh.
Hope you find your playing
Look,
time.
There's plenty of people around here that can help you
Goodbye,
execute your
Mason.
ideas.
Goodbye,
Let's go.
That's funny because I was also in the lab last night writing a song about how bad the Marlins are.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think I
Ooh,
might
are
have
we
it
gonna hear it?
Where is
later
it?
in the
Can we
week.
hear a
Hang on.
couple of lines or no?
Can we hear
It's
the
too-
song?
The
it's
thing
too-
is, the
it's-
windows are so short.
It's
There's a lot of great ideas here, folks.
windows are so
a lot of
short.
people helping you make stuff. Let's go. Ideas. Let's do it.
It's to Lizzo's Pink. It's pink. Goes with it. It's we stink.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, speaking of the Marlins, Flanagan's Day, June 1st.
Yeah.
I bought tickets because you get a Flanagan's jersey with a special a special ticket that they have.
Wait,
but
what?
there's
How much is that ticket?
it's actually like quite affordable. I'll send you the link, or maybe you can just have mine because I made the mistake of buying tickets sight unseen. Yeah, Flanagan's Day, June 1st,
You can't go?
4:30. It's the
Playoff time, baby.
it's the Champions League final that day.
Oh.
And also, I don't know when the Stanley Cup final is going to begin or when the NBA finals begin, but
NBA
that's-
finals aren't until like June 6th. I believe,
Okay,
is the
but
first day.
Stanley Cup final could be starting that Saturday, June 1st.
And the Panthers could be in it,
Could
even
be,
though
but-
they got hot at the wrong time.
But either way, I want to watch the Stanley Cup. I've made sure that this would. I've gone 2 years running to a Stanley Cup final game. I got to go every year.
But it's Flanagan's.
The Flanny's jersey is outstanding, though, and I used my Flanagan's Marlins cup yesterday to give my dog a bath.
But they made a big upgrade to the Flanagan's Marlins Cup. Last year, they just put the logo
What's
on
the
the back.
upgrade?
Now Papa Joe's wearing the cap.
Ooh,
Like he would be donning back in the day.
Never been to Flanagan's in my life.
We need to
What?
change
You're
that.
in Miami all
We
the
need to
time,
change
dude.
that.
Change that.
Never been
Yeah.
to Flanagan's.
take a little Uber down to Flanny's. We'll meet you there.
Go to the Grove one. It's the
They'll
closest
play
one.
German music.
The Grove?
And
No, I
go
don't know
away.
that.
I was about to say like
The Grove one?
Dangerous game late night. Grove Flanagan's. I'm just saying it is. I used to live
Open.
there.
They got
Open
2
late.
touchdowns at that one.
Open
What?
late
Yeah,
night.
main bar.
One inside, outside. Yeah.
I'll only
Dining
go
room.
if we go to the
Dangerous
Grove
game.
one.
Yeah.
okay, we'll do it. We'll do a group thing.
Nah, Westchester Flanny's for life.
Come on, I'm a Pinecrest Flanny's guy though. I got
Oh,
my
really?
picture on the wall.
Oh,
to
dude,
He's
Pinecrest.
not Ubering to the Everglades.
I mean,
Westchester's
The
that's-
Everglades.
That's where Sex Machine's at. That's where Slickback's at. That's what the real regs.
real slick back.
Yeah.
So as we continue here in the tournament, the region of death, the best costumes, best grid of death punishments.
What was it?
Beth, what are you doing, Jess? Why are you laughing
It's
at
a
him,
little
Jess?
Dusty Rhodes.
No, it's bad. I mean, you should be laughing. The first
I know, but it
matchup-
doesn't help with your
Griggs.
confidence.
No, I'm
I held it in, man.
9-seed
It was
Anchorman.
right
I
there.
feel awful.
9-seed Anchorman group costume versus Roy the Bear. Who do you guys think?
Tell
won?
me Roy advanced.
The winner is Roy.
There
Roy
we go.
advances as a 16 seed.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Whoa, Cinderella.
First of all, terrible seating for that. But what takes it over the top is that he said yes, chef, every time he spoke. So that's what takes
Fully
it
in
over the top.
character.
Yep.
Next matchup, we have 4-seed Dan as Nacho Libre versus Amin's baby Billy.
Okay.
And
I
the
thought it was
winner
pretty
is
good. I was in character too. You guys
Nacho
remember.
Libre wins.
Oh.
You got just like it because Dan's naked.
You
in
had
it.
to sing "There Will Be a Payday." Hallelujah. There's a payday.
I sang "Let's Go Bible Bonkers," God's favorite game.
Love that.
Next
You
matchup,
had
we
my
have
vote.
Lucy as Bobby Petrino versus Roy as emo Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
I thought the emo Jimmy was
Emo
strong.
Jimmy
This is a
crazy.
difficult matchup.
Yeah.
This is a
Lucy
tough one.
wins. Bobby Petrino moves on.
Nice.
It was strong. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really strong.
I feel like emo Jimmy was a little bit more relevant, right? But Bobby Petrino, that's a joke from like 7 years ago.
I mean, we've done it before on the show. Dan's done it.
Yeah.
It's a rehash costume,
Yeah.
but Lucy advances.
Final
A new
matchup:
spin on an old favorite.
10 seed Billy
Hitting
Gill.
yourself.
10 seed Billy Gill as Mankind versus Stugotz as Larry Bird.
I like the Mankind one.
Duh.
I mean, it was clearly better.
What
but
happened to my Rocky?
Larry Bird won because of course.
Yeah, with the towel, the Stugotz
I
towel.
think the
Actually, it
towel
is pretty
made
good.
It's pretty
What
good.
is that you're doing right now?
I don't
Doing
know.
the Larry Bird thing.
Things I've never done
Weirdly.
before or since, Chris.
Hip thrust.
I have a question.
That's how he did it, though. No, that's no. I'm
No,
gonna stick
that's
up for
like
you.
literally.
That's accurate.
I agree.
Well, he was wearing a white uniform and wasn't wearing a hat.
Was Billy the old-timey baseball player
True.
not in this bracket?
I don't know.
I remember
Old-timey baseball player is the best we've ever
it's
executed
the best
a
thing
costume
of
gag.
all time.
Did he have the mustache and
Yes.
stuff?
Well,
And this-
no, it's just because like Rob Delaney's on there. They're talking about losing a son, the other one losing a brother. All that stuff's happening. Dan's crying on the air, and we just keep cutting to old-timey Billy baseball.
and his mustache keeps changing every single time we cut to him. And that got beat by what?
Show doesn't get better than that, folks. I'm sorry. You could say we crescendoed right there,
Well,
and you'd be right.
If you want your favorite to win, you need to get a bot farm like Streeter and
I
Yeti.
do.
But where was this?
Yeah, if this
What
was
scene
Yeti,
this?
if this was Yeti, it'd win.
Oh, landslide.
Maybe this was Billy, since he's kind of the head of our committee. Maybe he didn't want to have too much of him in it. I don't know.
No, but it was
no.
in the seating. It was in the bracket.
So
This
it
is a
wasn't the
costume
bracket.
where
For
the
sure.
context is necessary, and contextually, that's the best costume maybe ever.
Who did it lose to? If it was in
That's
the
what I'm
bracket,
saying. I have no idea. The brackets are bogus.
Well, the commissioner is bogus. That's why.
Now you could say that again.
This is all Billy's fault.
And this bracket is brought to you by.
The bracket is, of course, brought to you by. I thought I did this already, but
You did.
March Sadness is presented by Get Your Guide. Discover over 100,000 unforgettable travel experiences in the U.S. and around the world at getyourguide.com.
I love my sponsors. I'm sorry.
No, I love them too.
I'm
I
sorry
love-
for being a good partner to our
The
You
Get
just
Your
wanted
Guide
to hear
app got
Chris
me through
read.
Europe.
I mean,
I love the Get Your Guide app.
It really is legitimately great.
so Amin,
Yes.
if the season ended today,
Oh, we got an update. Uh-huh.
I'm waiting for the music. But if the season ended today because you have declared the playoffs have begun,
Yes.
Western Conference, play-in games,
Yeah.
7 versus an 8 seed, Kings and Suns.
Ooh. Okay. So now the
Big game.
Kings.
Great games.
No-
The play-in games are going to be great.
No Kevin Herter. He's done for the year with shoulder surgery.
If you say
Really?
so.
He's
That
hurt her.
stinks.
He got hurt.
Now Malik Monk.
Could have used one of these rods.
Malik Monk.
There you
Yes,
go.
he could.
There you
Malik
go.
Monk could be back by the time the play-in starts, but except this is at the playoffs if the season ended today.
Yes.
So today, Malik Monk, who is the sixth man of the year, is not available.
If they're not available today, they're not available.
I got to go with the Suns.
Okay.
Book is on fire too.
Book's on fire. 50 points the other night.
The 9 versus 10.
Okay.
Another great game. Hall of Famers, legends, Lakers, Warriors.
Now, the Lakers have been really, really good lately. I mean, I know last night they had an easy one against the Raptors, who have lost 8 million games in a row. But the Lakers
LeBron's next team.
they've been exactly
I think they lost 14 in a row, by the way.
14
the
in a row.
Raptors.
Close to 8 million. So the Lakers have been clicking on all cylinders. Having said that, I just can't bet against the Warriors. I got them finding the magic, Stugotz, and getting out of that 10-9 matchup, winning that game.
All right, so Warriors, Kings.
Warriors. Oh,
So you have them in. You're saying the Warriors are going in.
Warriors are going in. Warriors are winning. So Warriors, Suns,
Are the 7 and 8.
7-8. Who's the 7? Who's the 8?
Well, you would have
Well,
the
Suns would be the 7.
Yeah, the Suns would be the
Oh,
7.
yeah, and then Warriors, Kings.
This has been the
If
story
the
of the whole
season ended
season.
today,
It's been
right,
the story of the whole season with that conference. Do you trust the young teams to beat those teams that are probably going to be these veteran-laden teams that are championship or bust built? Do you trust them in those early rounds?
I think the Kings, if they had been healthy, I would have taken the Kings over the Warriors. But if the season ended today,
I mean, with whoever you got winning the playing games against the 1 and 2 seeds.
Mike, you're putting the cart before the horse. We're still in the.
But if the season ended today,
but Mike is right. You would have the Timberwolves versus the Suns. Like
that's fascinating.
Yes, it really is.
And who's the 2? Is it the Thunder?
Well, no,
the Thunder are the 3 if the season ended today.
The Nuggets are 1.
2.
Nuggets are 1.
Nuggets are 1.
Nuggets are
T-Wolves are
right
2.
Nuggets are streaking.
Clippers are 4. Mavs 5.
Tough one last night, by the way, for the streaking Nuggets. They had to fight to get out of
challenge.
San Antonio. They had to fight. The playoffs have already started. I'm telling you.
9 blocks for Wemby, huh?
Oh, man.
Almost had a quadruple double.
Yeah.
Again.
It's
He almost had a quadruple double again. And this is just him not even knowing, first of all, not even knowing what he's doing.
I tried warning you guys.
He did.
Bad for basketball.
We had something more impressive than the near quadruple double again was 3 dunks for Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
3 dunks in the first quarter.
Forget about the 45 points.
No, forget about that. When was the last time he dunked? Does anybody know?
Let the young guys know.
Exactly.